What is up, everybody? Philly Fly over here, your newest source for all your newest Eagles news and NFL breaking news with the NFL draft just wrapping up tonight. As an Eagles fan, I gotta say I'm really freaking happy with how everything's going, things of that nature. And I don't want to make the channel intro too long, but I'm gonna try to be as fair as possible and as honest as possible. I won't always be right. But when I'm wrong, I'll always say, well, I stand corrected. I'll eat my words fair and square. And I'll admit that I was wrong and things of that nature. But that being said, my initial reaction is I think Howie Roseman for this draft, I think he deserves an A+. And I'll explain why by first breaking down each of the players. First off, let's start with Quinyon Mitchell. Obviously, he's the best ranked corner in the draft. He has six total interceptions for 54 interceptions yards. He has 93 total tackles. That's pretty good. And like I said, you can't beat being ranked number one. Not nice and simple. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of stats, a little bit of face value. Like that. That's my general style. I want to do a little mix of both. Here's his stats right here, or right here, depending on how you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I'll put his stats right here and whatnot, and I really think he'll fit in Nick Fangio's system, and I'll get into a little bit about that later once I get into a little bit of the later draft picks and things of that nature, Stoutland University, as well as other coaching weapons we have on our side now. So next up is the Flying Frenchman, Cooper DeJean. He's the number 3rd ranked corner in the draft. We got him as well by I think trading up by Green Bay. I'll put like the details on one of the sites for all of the trades that we made, and all of the draft picks and things of that nature. But yeah, he has 98 total tackles, 32 assist tackles, 132 total interceptions yards, and he has 7 of those. He has 3 pick sixes. So he's an absolute freaking beast, and he even said during his interview that he could play all 3 positions and things of that nature, and he's ready to go out there and play. So that's really good as well. Next is Jalix Hunt. He had a 4.6 40-yard dash. He had 8 total sacks in I believe 2 years of college. He was ranked 24th at his position / D-line. According to NFL Draft Buzz, and I don't really know much about him. So as we get later, however, I still have a lot more to talk about. But just at face value and basic little stats, things of that nature. But yeah, I think he's a beast. He used to play safety and corner, things of that nature. He's really freaking fast, and well, he's for his size or however he put on weight or however. But yeah, I think he's gonna be a steal. Ainias Smith with the 152nd pick. I don't really know much about him. I couldn't really find anything about him online. So, I just hope, Howie, what I'm saying, did his homework or however. I tried to do, mine or however, but obviously I couldn't really find much on him. Next is Trotter Jr. This is obviously, in my personal opinions, just simply because of his dad, is his position, things of that nature. Again, we'll get into that a little bit later. But in my personal opinion, this is the 3rd best pick of the draft by far, even though we got him a lot later. However, and I'll tell you why. He had 14 sacks, 4 interceptions, 54 solo tackles, 2 forced fumbles. And just this year alone, he's had 2 interceptions. The 4 interceptions was from total or however, things of that nature. But yeah, he's an absolute freaking beast. I don't care. People say he's slow, yada yada yada. He'd be perfect for Fangio's scheme. I'll say that now. He's gonna be a star. He's gonna develop. He won't be that maybe right away. So don't quote me on that. But he will be something special. And again, he was the 6th best linebacker in the draft, I believe. I know for sure he's top 10. I'll post the details in his stats right here as well, so you guys can check that out as well. But yeah, again. 54 solo tackles, and then he had like a year with 40 something. Again, I'll post him right here. Absolute beast. I don't care. And then whatchamacallit, we could have got Andrew Cooper, technically, by trade or however, but simply because of the name, I believe Trotter can develop. Obviously, one's faster, one's obviously a little bit better. I give you that. I'm not going to make the case for saying that they're on the same level, yada, yada, yada. As of right now, Edwin Cooper is better, by a margin. I don't know exactly, it's sizable. I'll say that. It's a decent sized margin. But Trotter still has the capability to become a Pro Bowler, in my opinion. He'll have Fangio. I forgot who he just hired as a linebacker coach, but he'll have him. Things of that nature, and maybe he can get some a little bit of tips from Devin White, because I think Devin White's going to resurge and things of that nature, and I think Trotter's definitely going to give Nakobe Dean some competition, because if Nakobe Dean can't stay healthy, I just don't see him lasting that long here in Philly. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see it happening. You know what I'm saying? So, as well as the fact that I think James Bradbury is going to get cut as well. Hot take of the day. Bradbury 50-50 might retire if he gets cut from the Eagles because he's, he knows he's kind of washed. Sorry to tell you, but we have Isaiah Rodgers. He was top 5 whenever he played. He, no injury, however, I don't know, what I'm saying, football-wise, he might be a little rusty. I'll give you that. But, he could still be top 10, just over taking a year off at the end of the day. He can still be top 10. And he was top 5 before. So, maybe he drops a couple spots over a year, taking a year off, not because of injury, not because, or anything because of health, but because of what he did off the field. Sorry for starting. I'm just really freaking excited. Saquon, all that good stuff. Fly Eagles fly. You know what I'm saying? Just really freaking excited, like I said. But to get back onto the point, I just really freaking, like this draft and how we did. A plus, Howie, if by whatever chance you're reading this, great fucking job, man. Great job. I'll bleep that or however, but yeah. Thank you, Howie. You gave the linebacker core a little bit of something to believe in, even if it's just for 1 year. Devin White and Trotter Jr., that's something to have hope in. You can have hope in it. Maybe not, that's our bread and butter. We can rely on that. They'll get us to the Super, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if Trotter can show just enough glimpses of greatness or however, that he's related to his dad, you know what I'm saying? Then, maybe, him and Devin White or however. I'm not shooting out of the picture, but, you know what I'm saying? It will get some more competition, some legit competition into the linebacker room. That's what I honestly think. On to the next guy, Trevor Keegan with the 172nd pick. Again, I use NFL Sports Buzz. I use ESPN, and I really couldn't find anything on him. He did okay at the 40-yard dash. I just think it's more so a Jeff Stoutland thing, things of that nature. Same thing with Dylan Buchanan, or however you pronounce it, with the 190th pick. I don't really know much about them. I tried to do my research and whatnot. I always try to come educated and whatnot if I don't know something. But yeah. And then Johnny Wilson, I watched him a little bit during the year. I know he had like 500 or 600 yards, something like that. He could develop and he could be a wide receiver too. One day. If he can get the proper reps, the proper training. You know what I'm saying? Proper development. You know what I'm saying? He's pretty good. Not even gonna front. But the next thing is that I would like to talk about is the impact that the totality of the draft has on this upcoming season. I think whatever happens, good, bad, or indifferent, because of what happens in the draft and the choices that the draft will allow Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie to hypothetically make, I think it could have up to a 30 to 40% impact on the season. Because obviously you still have Jalen Hurts. He's locked up. The wide receivers and the O-line are locked up. You know what I'm saying? Saquon's good for the next 3 years. You know what I'm saying? And then most of them are good to like 2029. And as of now, it's 2024. So that's, on the calendar wise, like technically it's 5 years, but it's like 4 years and so days and months, or however you want to word it, or however the case may be. So I would venture so far as to say about a 35% max, I'd say. 20-30% is my final answer. 20 to 30%. 35 max, worst case. The next thing I would like to talk about is the biggest impact. If I could pick one player that I think that I could bet on hypothetically that would make the most difference on the Eagles, I would honestly say, because the biggest thing in sports is availability, because if you can't play, you can't show what you got. I mean, that's literally Nakobe Dean's problem. He can't stay healthy. He's, with the exception of this year, he's the Anthony Davis of the NFL. Can't stay healthy, pretty much. Whatchamacallit, but other than that, I do believe that the biggest impact in the draft will probably be Cooper DeJean because he has the availability to play multiple positions. He's a plug and play guy. He can play the outside. He can play slot. He can play corner. He can play safety. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things he can do in Fangio's scheme.
Biggest thing is versatility.
There's a lot of things he can do to
just
help
being
out
able
Trotter
to play,
and whatnot. So
play multiple positions.
They're all young. You know what I'm saying? They're all hungry. They all seem happy to be Eagles and things of that nature. The next thing is probably the sleeper pick. In my opinion, I mean, if like I said, I'm very biased in terms of Trotter. I've seen a lot of his games. Because I'm a really big fan of his dad, or however when he played and things of that nature. And I think because he was the 155th pick, so I really think he'll be the sleeper pick. I'm not saying he'll do like the most damage or however, but I'm saying considering where he was drafted, okay, Tom Brady, he's the biggest sleeper pick of all time, 199th pick. Just as a small example, obviously we beat him with Nick Foles. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's not that big a deal. But whatchamacallit, Trotter Jr. Yeah, I definitely believe that in terms of our picks, he'll be the sleeper pick in terms of our picks. And I believe Jalix Hunt, in a few years will do something, but I believe, Trotter, he's hungry. He wants to help out as soon as possible. You know what I'm saying? Because with the linebacker, every second matters. As soon as you hit 30, you know what I'm saying? I mean, look what happens around the league. Now, in my opinion, most of these players are scheme fits and things of that nature. So the only ones I'm worried about are the ones I really don't know anything about, like the later round picks. But then again, I'm not too worried because our later round picks, we still got the 2 top corners in the draft. You know what I'm saying? 2 top 3 corners, things of that nature. And again, Quinyon Mitchell, his only weakness is I'll put him right here on the other side or however. His only weaknesses can be coached. We do have Fangio. You know what I'm saying? And then in terms of secondary coaches, we pretty much replaced all of our defensive staff pretty much. And then we got Kellen Moore on the offensive side, things of that nature. So I mean, I'm really liking where we're at in terms of development, coaching. I mean, I don't know how long Nick Fangio will stay. I'm a here and now kind of guy because injuries can happen. You never know what can happen with Jalen. He can hurt his knee. I hope the best. You know what I'm saying? Knock on wood. You know what I'm saying? But you never know what can happen. So if it's up to me, I say we try to win it every single year. Don't wait and build for the future and all that. No, all you're doing is wasting your players' primes. You have to try to go after it every year, no matter what happens. Look at the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Like flag was fly, I bleed green. You know what I'm saying? I love my Eagles. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm never gonna switch teams. My Eagles are my team. But I mean, I'm just saying everyone else had dynasties. You know what I'm saying? Because of that. But honestly, I think if everyone can stay healthy, we could honestly go. Honestly, let me think. I think we can have a good 12 or 13 win season. I'm not expecting it, but I'm saying it's possible. In terms of expecting, I think that if we, the first couple games, we figure it out, we struggle to win them or however, we dominate a couple, yada, 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 and then, a couple here, a couple there, I think if we don't lose more than, let's say, 4 games, 5 games tops, three games, ideally if we can lose only 3 games, because obviously no team's perfect. I'm never going to expect perfection or however. They're human beings, they're not robots. No matter how good it looks or however, I mean, regardless of any super teams or however the case may be, you can never expect perfection. So I mean, if we could only lose 3 games, 4 games, you know what I'm saying, tops, I think that's a pretty good expectation. I mean, Saquon, all the firepower we have, and I mean, again, in terms of the draft picks, I mean, Cooper DeJean, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of weaknesses, and any of them that he does have or however, I mean, again, Nick Fangio, we did upgrade our coaching staff and things of that nature. So I'm just in very strong belief of these picks and things of that nature. 2 top 3 corners. Even if one of them one of them got to be you know what I'm saying, at least decent. You know, at least that's minimum. I'm not like trying to, you know, predict that or however the case may be, but I'm saying worst case scenario, at least one of them's gonna be hit, and one of them can miss or however the case may be. I hope both of them hit. You know what I'm saying? But as of now, on paper, you know, we're setting ourselves up to have a pretty scary secondary. I may even go so far as to say top 5. I mean that's where it's heading. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he's a plug and play guy. He can play corner. You know, he's not as versatile as Cooper DeJean. You know what I'm saying? He can't play all three, but I mean, he could play corner, just like, you know, whatchamacallit, I'm forgetting the word, but he could play one of them, and then he plays safety as well. Because he could be a nickel corner, he could be an outside corner, he could be a slot corner, things of that nature. So, yeah, I mean, in Fangio's scheme, I mean, I'm really liking how those three are going to match up in the secondary. And then in terms of Jeremiah Trotter, like I said, I mean, you know, he doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. I'll put his right here as well. And then, you know, we'll go over his strengths and whatnot. I mean, he's strong, he's fast. You know, I mean, I just think, in my opinion, I've watched a lot of Eagles drafts. I've watched a lot of football, things of that nature. And at least in my lifetime, this has been one of the craziest drafts in general. Not just for the Eagles, for everybody. For the league. Like, it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like 20 something of like the first, like 25 for like offensive players, or however, there's only like 2 or 3 defensive players or something like that. Latu, I forgot where he went, but yeah, it was just so crazy to watch, you know. But overall, like I said, I would give Howie Roseman and the Philadelphia Eagles an A+. That they addressed pretty much everything we needed. We got a developing wide receiver, a developing running back, things of that nature. So, I mean, and again, you know, it's not just like about getting like the best player available. It's also about needs. It's because some people say, oh, never go for need. It makes it all obvious or however. But sometimes you gotta blend it. Because hypothetically, if you have Tom Brady in his prime, you know what I'm saying, that just won a couple rings or however, this is just an example, or whoever you want to put in there, Michael Vick in his prime, 25 years old, whoever you want to put. And you know your quarterback's good. And if you have a top 5 pick, and there's hella good quarterbacks, hella good receivers and all that, you know, don't choose the quarterback. I mean, you have Tom freaking Brady. I mean, get him another thing, get him another person to throw to. You know, get him a Randy Moss, get him a Cooper Kupp, you know what I'm saying? However the case may be, depending on who's available or however. I mean, obviously this draft already happened, but I'm saying if you have Tom Brady or however, I mean, it could be any year of his career. You know, but anyways, but yeah, you know, so sometimes you have to blend it. Sometimes you have to blend getting the best player with what you need, you know, because I mean, like I said, Trotter is a top 6, and again, I'll put a stat here. Trotter is a top 6 linebacker. We could have went a little bit different directions, you know. I mean, we could have done that a little bit differently, and you know, but I believe, you know, we did want Trotter, you know, being Jeff Lurie and whatnot or however, but I believe that's why we traded up like aggressively like that or however, so we could get him. Because he is, you know, top 6, you know, like, you know, top 10 at least, you know, and there's a lot of freaking college teams. I don't know every single college out there because there's small schools I never heard of, you know. I mean, there is. But there's a lot of colleges, you know, there's a lot of good linebackers, things of that nature that have, you know, pretty darn good stats, you know. So, like I said, I believe in the picks and things of that nature. I'm just really freaking excited, like I said, to see how they fit in the scheme and how they went mostly defense. Like really, really freaking excited. An absolute win in my book. The next thing I want to talk about is the totality of the roster. Last year, C.J. Gardner-Johnson got hurt, so people question his health. Like, you know, like what if he gets hurt again? Things of that nature. That's reasonable. You know, he's like 5'11", 6 foot, something like that, $190. You know what I'm saying? But even then, his attitude in the locker room and things of that nature, when he is out there, he is a ball hawk. He makes a difference out there. Same thing with Reed Blankenship. He finally has help out there now. I'm sorry, Darius Slay. I wouldn't go so far as to say he's washed, but he's definitely lost a step. I love Darius Slay. You know what I'm saying? Big play Slay. You know what I'm saying? But I believe Bradbury's washed. sorry to tell you. If I'm wrong, I'll eat my words. If I'm wrong, if Bradbury comes back and bounces back, and if in case of whatever the case may be, I'll eat my words. I'll be like, you know what? I'm sorry, James Bradbury. I was wrong, yada, yada, yada. But as of now, he's looking, you know what I'm saying? Like how he looked last year, how bad, how slow. You can't teach speed, coaching aside. You can't coach speed. You either have speed or you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like LeBron, he was blessed with his athleticism or however, you know what I'm saying? Jordan, he had his speed. The speed you have is the speed you have. Once you lose it, there's no getting it back. Ask Muhammad Ali. I love Muhammad Ali. My favorite boxer of all time, he'd sleep Mike Tyson. Just saying. I'm sorry for him on different things. I'm sorry. I love sports in general. I love my Philadelphia Eagles. Oh, crap. It's reverse driver on camera. But yeah, I love my Philadelphia Eagles. I love Trotter. You know what I'm saying? I love Jason Kelsey. You know what I'm saying? Love Fletcher Cox. Love all them. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I really love sports. I'm just a really passionate guy about sports, and I like using metaphors. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. I'm a face value and then statistics as well. You know what I'm saying? Because someone can look you good or however. You know what I'm saying? You can make highlights or however, and then they like for example, if I'm a quarterback or however, and I threw the ball 50 times, but all you see is 10 good passes, I'm 10 for 50. That's horrible. 10 for 50. It takes me 50 throws, legitimately hypothetically 50 throws to have 10 good passes. That's horrible. That's like 2 games to have, 5 game. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry. I just really love sports, love the Eagles, what we're doing and things of that nature. It's going to be really exciting for the whole league round because I'm not one of those guys that only watch the Eagles. I watch everybody. I watch the Giants. I watch, the Cowboys to see how they're doing, even though they're going to choke every year. I completely recognize that. I watch it literally just so I can go on Mark Holmes' page and see him blame everybody but Dak. He'll blame everybody but Dak. Dak hypothetically, not saying this has ever happened, but Dak could hypothetically have 20 freaking million picks in a game and then 20 sacks, and then nobody will blame him. He'll be like, it's not his fault. It's CeeDee Lamb. I'm like, it's the whole line. I'm like, you had the ball for 20 seconds, bud. Green Bay last year, you choked, bud. You choked. Can't blame Kellen Moore for a choking quarterback. You can't. 8 years hasn't done nothing. Jalen Hurts, 4 years, 5 years as a starter. Basically half the time he's been in the league. Guess what? He's already been in the Super Bowl. Win, lose, draw. Guess what? At least he's been there. Win, lose, draw. He lost. I give you that. We lost, but we won in 2018. Cowboys fans haven't won since 1995. So, I just watch every team in the league. You know what I'm saying? Due to the fact that it's important. It's not to make like a scouting report or however, like as if they listen or however, but I mean, it's just so I can like know what to expect whenever they play us or however, like, blah, 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 just because the record, they're mid. No, they're actually pretty competitive, but just, a lot of teams can just, they capitalize on their mistakes, things of that nature, but yeah, I always try to figure out what every team got, things of that nature. Top 5 teams going in, like after the draft or however post-draft. In my opinion, the Eagles. Our defense got a heck of a lot better. We have linebackers now. Devin White, Tua, whatever his name is. Nakobe Dean, if he can come back and be healthy. Trotter Jr. Devin White, if I didn't say his name already. Our secondary has gotten a lot better, a lot younger. We extended Reed Blankenship, things of that nature. We extended A.J. Brown. And yeah, I mean, I'm just feeling really confident about the roster this year. And overall, I think the defensive side as a whole has gotten better. The linebacker, the only thing that I would say arguably hasn't is the edge. But it depends what Bryce Huff is going to do. It depends on what Josh Sweat's going to do. It depends on what the other guys are going to do. I'm sorry about the names. Like I said, I'm just really excited for this season. If we can somehow get Micah Parsons, future Eagle, you know what I'm saying, he wants out, you know what I'm saying, low key, then I mean I wouldn't have that, small, little thing or however. But hopefully Nolan Smith can step up as well. But yeah, overall I'm not really concerned with Cam Jurgens taking over at center. I really do believe in him. He gave us 11 games last year at a right guard. And he did good. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, he missed a few games and whatnot, but yeah, I mean, he gave you 11 games. The pass block was good against the run was pretty good. I mean, obviously, like when he's during center, it's gonna be pretty cool to see him snapping the ball versus Jason Kelsey, because I grew up always watching Jason Kelsey snapping the ball or however, and then the dude before him, he was like a no name or however, I forgot him, but I watched him just like a little bit. But I remember whenever he got Kelsey, and then as he got better and things of that nature, LaShawn McCoy, you know what I'm saying, all them guys or however, when they doubted him, like, oh, he's too small, yada yada yada, he's gonna be able to block, etc. But I think even with Jason Kelsey gone, I think even with Jason Kelsey gone, I think we'll still probably be at least a top 5 O line, if not top 3 or best O line in the league. Because I'm humble, I'm not gonna say, oh, we're the best just because we're the Eagles. Oh, but like, I'm not brown nosing players or however, like, again, like Will Shipley and Ice Smith, Trevor Keegan and Dylan Mahan, I honestly never heard of them. I'm not going to overhype them, underhype them. I tried to do my little research on them or however, because, before each video, because obviously this is my first video, but before each video, I'm going to try to be organized and whatnot and do my research, you know what I'm saying, about if I don't know anything or however, but yeah, I'm going to try to be organized. I have like little things I'm going to talk about, talking points, because I'm new to this, so, but yeah, I just love my Eagles and things of that nature, so. I think the very, very last thing that I want to talk about is do you guys think, comment down below, do you guys think Howie has one last move in him before like the season starts in terms of free agency, or do you feel like 2 top 3 corners, you know what I'm saying, and a top 6 linebacker in the draft? Jeremiah Trotter Jr., top 6. He is top 6. I'll put it right here again. You know what I'm saying? But, or do you think that we still need to put in stuff or however? Yeah, sure. I know we need a little low line depth, but do you think there's any big moves? Not small, like little role player, bench warmer moves, but like actually big moves, guys that could start. Like Patrick Surtain or however. Like I know that's probably out the water, but I'm just saying like a big name or however, offensively or defensively. One more big move. Or stay put in terms of that, maybe just a role player or just things to move around or however small things. So basically, big move or small or no move. Comment down below. That being said, thank you so much for watching my first episode. I'm glad you guys tuned in. Hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of Philly Flyover. That's probably going to do it for today. You guys have a blessed day. Peace.